I just finished a month-long project where I installed a new kitchen. I made a video series, 8 videos that you can see on my channel here about that. When I brought all my tools back to the shop, I thought I would check my vacuums, check the bags, and I was pretty surprised. I actually made a video of pulling the bags out, but I've had a bit of a mic and camera problem with I've got a new camera and my mic's repaired, and it ended up being very echoey. So I did some tests and hopefully I've got it working right now. But I wasn't going to put the bags back in to show you. These are what I pulled out. So this vacuum here is my old original Festool vac that I use for my miter saw. So it gets used exclusively for the miter saw. Single hose coming out, hooked up to that. When I pulled the bag out, it was packed so tight, and it's an older version, so it has these thick paper bags, and they normally hold up pretty well, but this one tore a bit pulling it out. It was just a solid brick. You couldn't even push in on it. The sawdust was just holding it packed so tight. And one of my newer vacs, my large one here, this one I use it's in here somewhere I think, I use a splitter on this one, and I run 2 hoses. Just for the table saw, for the SawStop saw, I have the traditional port on that you've got on every table saw that takes the saw from inside the machine, or the sawdust from inside the machine. And then I have the saw guard on the top that also has dust extraction. And so I have the 2 hoses going into this, and so whenever I turn on the table saw, of course, the vac comes on. And this is, because it's a newer saw, it uses their newer style bags. They're almost like a fabric, but this was packed in there just incredibly tight. And I guess my point is to talk about dust control when you're on the job. Years ago, I had vacuums before I went to these nicer Festool vacs. I had, the typical shop vacs or whatever brand you get for $100 or something, just big plastic tubs with a big noisy motor on it, and they spew more fine dust out probably than they collect. And I didn't hook them up to my tools very often. The tools just either had a dust bag on them, or they just put out the dust, and then I'd clean up after. But working in homes, whether it's a home that we're under new construction and nobody lives there, or like we're doing now, where we're doing remodels and there's usually a family living there and sort of putting up with us during the construction. Well, we put up the dust walls, which I showed in the other video, and just go to that extra level of collecting our dust and keeping it clean throughout the day, and cleaning up good at the end of the day, and then of course at the end of the job doing a thorough clean. And so what I guess I want to say that, we think about our miter saws and we think about our routers and our drills, and those are obviously all very important tools. But the vacuum nowadays is as important as those tools are, not only for keeping the job site clean and keeping your customers happy and satisfied with your work, but also for your health. Collecting the dust is an important thing. So these vacuums not only do a very good job at collecting the dust, but they also protect your health, because they are with not only the bags collecting the dust and keeping it, but the fine filters, these put out no fine dust at all. They collect it all. Hence you get these really full bags. In fact, these were so packed in like a brick, like I said, that I was surprised they were still collecting dust. We didn't notice on the job any reduction in their dust collection, hence I didn't check the bags. This smaller vacuum, the bag in it is only about half full, but on the job we use this one when we ground the concrete, and that's a very, very fine powder. And we packed a bag on the job so tight that in fact it's made a sound. We could tell that it was full, and we pulled that bag out. We disposed of that one, so I don't have it with me, but that bag was just packed tight with the dust from the grinding of the concrete slab. So just looking at the amount of sawdust and fine dust that are in these bags, I realized how much the dust and sawdust was collected and how important that is. Otherwise, it would have been, a big cleanup mess. Now, Festool is my vacuum of choice. Obviously, this isn't an ad for them. I certainly highly recommend them. I choose them. There's other brands out there. You can look into those. You certainly aren't going to get this kind of dust collection from one of the vacuums that you can get at your local hardware store. You'll need to check into one of the tool brands, or there's some vacuum brands, and none of them come to mind. I think maybe Fine, and there's some other brands that are kind of vacuum specific. I don't think of them being related to tools, but that professional cleaning services use. They may work well, but I also have seen prices on them, and they're all pretty close. The Fine and the Festool and those others. I think you just pick the one that you like the most, or maybe the one that's available in your area. So, just as a final note, just remember to think about your vacuums as one of your tools, as important as your miter saw and your table saw and your drills and those things. Well, if you like these videos, be sure to give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, but most important, share them with others. And if you want a set of workbench plans like you see me using my videos, click on the link right here in the video. Thanks for taking the time to watch. Have a great day.